Well, hi, Ian. It's so wonderful that we can do this over Zoom. Just would love to have you in the service with us, but we know that you've been called into work. And most of us will know who you are. But for those of us who don't, why don't you just share with us a bit about yourself, who you are, your family, what you do? Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm a viola player in the Liverpool Philharmonic, which is where I'm working today. We've got a concert this afternoon, and so we've got a rehearsal this morning, which is why I'm not able to be in church this morning. But my family and I have been coming to Trinity since 2014 when we moved to the Wirral. And my family, I've got my wife Mary, and then two boys, John and Caleb. So
And how old are John and Caleb now?
So John is 9 and Caleb is 7.
Okay, okay, okay.
Caleb was very small when we first came
I
here.
know, I remember that. I
Yeah,
remember meeting Mary for the first time in the hay, cradling Caleb, who I think was about
yeah,
3 weeks at the time. It's
yeah,
kind of,
something like that. I think
yeah,
only a couple of months old or something like that. So
yeah.
yeah, very new.
I must say, for us, it's been a real blessing having you with us as a family. But when did you become a Christian, Ian?
So I mean, I grew up going to church, and it's probably familiar with lots of people. You grew up going to church, but I didn't really kind of develop a personal faith until I was about 20. I'd say when I was at
Okay,
university, that's when I kind of.
okay, okay. And you're now the grand old age of about, what, 70 plus?
I'm in my mid 30s, so.
No, that's great. Um, as a Christian dad, what do you feel is the most important thing that you can do for your children?
So I think it's probably mirroring God's relationship with me. So as God as my heavenly Father, with me as the child, trying to mirror that with my children. So God shows me grace, and through Jesus forgives my sins, and therefore, in a similar way, like showing that grace to my children. That's what I would hope to kind of model. Um, I think alongside that as well, we've got um, it's a little picture which I'll just show. It hangs in our downstairs loo actually, but it's something that Mary did a few Father's Days ago, and it's a picture which hopefully will come up clearer on the screen, which has my boys, has the footprints of my two boys. We've got Caleb here, we've got John's here, and it's also got the verse which says, "Teach a child to choose the right path, and when he is older, he will remain upon it," which is from Proverbs 22, verse 6. Um, and it's, I think, as well as kind of showing that relationship to my children, like I want to try and teach them as well. Um, and it's not. So this is an interesting proverb because it's written by Solomon, and it's he. If you read Solomon's account in the Bible, he's not the perfect father.
Yeah.
He has many wives, and actually, what is interesting is the way that he may have taught his children, but the way that he acted actually plays out in Israel and Judah's history. Actually, um, in people turning away from God in some ways. It's fascinating that he should write this, and yet also the way that he acted as well. But it's not to say that there's any surefire way that like doing this, my children will definitely become a Christian. It's more than actually out of love. I want to share this, what the relationship that I have with Jesus. I want to try and share that with my children and explain to them why I think Jesus is ultimately important.
Yeah, yeah. And do you find that share part of that sharing sort of involves reading the word with them, opening a Bible with them? Do you manage to have sort of family Bible times on a regular basis,
Yeah,
or
so we've done two things really, two main things. Um, at bedtime, from when they were brand new, we've always read the Bible, obviously like kids' Bibles, and and then kind of like slightly older children's Bibles and things like that. But we've always read a bit from the Bible, and we've always done a pattern of prayers, which has included the Lord's Prayer, but just kind of done a pattern of prayers and finishing with a prayer saying thank you and sorry for the different things that have happened during the day. So, and we've done that, and we built that into kind of the bedtime routine when they were little. And that's carried on really, and it just signifies for them when it's time to be going that this is calming down, this is getting towards sleep time. We've also, since they were probably, I'm trying to think now, probably John was about 6, maybe 5, probably 6 actually, and Caleb was 4. We started to do a Bible time in the morning, just at breakfast. So it's while we're eating our breakfast. We have been doing a thing called Table Talk, which is kind of age specific, kind of primary school age, and takes you through various books of the Bible, teaching you the truths, and it's really good at teaching the kind of overall Bible. And because you do it every day, it's just it's become part of what we do. We have breakfast every day. We read the Bible every day. The follow-up from that, which we started to do a couple of years after that, I think, maybe a year or so after that, it can't be a couple of years, we started to do what's called, we do prayers on the stairs. So actually, once we've done our teeth, cleared all the breakfast things, done our teeth, we pray together on the stairs. And it's just a very short prayer, just one thing each, basically. And the children's might be, thank you for my toys, or thank you for the food that we've got. I try and build on what we've spoken about in the Bible passage, and try and relate that to what we've got coming that day, or what happened yesterday, type thing. So
so just sort of bring it home and bring what you've read into present day reality of school life and life as they will be living it. Yeah, that's really helpful. I like that prayers on the stairs thing. It's great. I mean, that kind of leads into what I'd like to ask next, and that is that I can imagine that your children, as I know we had with ours, aren't always responsive to it, or sometimes they don't engage as you would like them to, or this is something that, they can think of things they'd rather be playing with. How do you overcome that with them, and how do you steer the course with them through that and persevere?
There's an element of kind of, it's making sure that we do it every day. And one of the things of actually kind of building it into going to bedtime or kind of breakfast time, particularly with the actual reading of the Bible, is that we have breakfast every day together.
Yeah.
Very rarely will we actually have it apart. We might have, I quite often work in the evening, so we might have dinner apart or whatever, but building that in at breakfast time, we have breakfast every day. So doing it every day without fail, I think is really important, because it's actually gets to the point where if for some reason we're in a rush and actually like I would be like, oh, let's not. They want to do it. They've become so much part of what we do. They want to do it.
So the trick there is slipping it into your daily routine.
Yeah.
And just doing that as part of your daily routine.
Yeah.
No, I think that's really encouraging. So, Ian, what would you say to dads by way of encouragement? Some dads might be listening to this thinking, oh, I just don't know where to start. I feel daunted by this. How would you encourage them in that?
It doesn't have to be complicated, and it doesn't need to be, you don't need like a theology degree. There is so much help out there. And I found the Table Talk really helpful for me. I do no preparation for it. Like, it's very clearly laid out. It says what the key point is at the top. You just literally work through it. There's a kind of introductory bit, and you just work through it, and just it's very straightforward. So there's some very straightforward, easy material out there, and I'd be very happy to kind of talk through the things that have worked for me. But I'm sure maybe someone like Anna, the youth and children's worker, has got Anna Ledbetter has got plenty of ideas as well. If people would rather talk to her, or if they're just looking for different ideas, but it's doing something is really important. It's just building that into your day is really important. But it doesn't have to be complicated. The prayers do not have to be complicated. They're not the most eloquent ones most of the time. But it's actually it's the thing of doing it and building that time in is the important thing, and actually opening the Bible, even if you don't fully think you've fully taught the bit that you've just read. Actually just doing it, the word comes alive that way. So
yeah, definitely, it's setting the pattern, setting the habit. No, that's really, really helpful. Ian, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. And I know that you will be praying for other dads in our church family, as we try and do this together. I know for Roger and me, when we were doing this when our boys were young, we didn't regret it. And interestingly, when they grew up, they actually were able to say that those family times together, reading the word, were some of the best times in their lives and most influential times in formulating the way they think, which was hugely encouraging, because at the time of doing it, we had no idea how much they were taking in or what what they were doing.
And I think that's one of the things you don't know. It's like, it's never too late to start something, but it's like doing something is better than doing nothing. So it's never too late, but it's never too early. You don't know at what stage a little child's going to start hearing and understanding.
Yeah.
They will understand before they can talk back to you.
Yeah, totally.
So doing that is more important than.
Yeah. So starting as a baby is not weird. It's just, yeah. Ian, thanks so much. And we do pray that the rest of your day goes well. God bless.
God bless. Bye.
Bye.